Christianity's false dogmas. Christianity is a patriarchal religion. Women have certainly played a role within Christianity throughout the ages. However, it was men who wrote the stories, created the theology, and built the power structure that evolved into Christianity and who have fueled its growth from its early years. Christianity's ideas, concepts, and beliefs were created by men, beginning more than 2,500 years ago, and continuing to the present day. Their motivations ranged from wanting to understand the nature of reality, to wanting to serve mankind, to wanting to control people and amass power and wealth. Their values ranged from love and compassion to power, greed, and hatred. The Catholic theologians, bishops, and popes of the early church created a religion that enabled them to amass vast power and wealth. But this religion is not based on the teachings of Jesus. In fact, much of its dogma is actually false. The major falsehoods are the inherent sinfulness of humanity, original sin, heaven versus hell, and the need for intervention by clergy to save people's souls, to allow them to avoid hell and get into heaven. Some Christian denominations teach their members that they belong to the one true church. Could this really be true when there are over 200 distinctly named Christian denominations in the U.S.? Furthermore, many Christians have been taught to believe that the Bible is the inerrant Word of God and should be interpreted literally. There are over 900 different English versions of the Bible. Which is the one that contains the inerrant Word of God? A discerning mind is helpful when presented with these kinds of teachings. Creating a religion by making Jesus God. Early Christianity is often divided into three different branches in the 1st century CE: agnostic, Jewish, and Pauline Christianity, each with their own theology and traditions. Eventually, Pauline Christianity engendered Catholicism, which became the dominant form. However, there were still widespread theological disagreements and conflicts among the Catholic bishops about beliefs. A widely held belief among many of Jesus' followers in the years following his death was that he was a god. This belief is not as unusual as it sounds. According to Bart Ehrman, in his New York Times best-selling book, How Jesus Became God, numerous people in antiquity, among both pagans and Jews, were thought to be both human and divine. As an example, the Roman emperors were considered gods before, during, and for hundreds of years after the life of Jesus. The resurrection of Jesus' physical body was instrumental in labeling him God. For some years following his death, Jesus became known as the Son of God. Nevertheless, for hundreds of years after his death, the issue of whether he was God was a hotly contested topic of debate. This debate created intense conflict among early Catholic bishops in the Roman Empire. The bishops also argued if Jesus was God, then in what capacity? Many biblical scholars believe that Jesus never claimed to be the only Son of God. Not only did he not claim himself to be God, he either referred to himself as the Son of Man or was referred to as the Son of Man no fewer than 80 times in the New Testament. Many Christians during this time believed in the pre-existence of the soul, reincarnation, and if they patterned their lives after the life of Jesus, their soul could attain union with God. 3 centuries after Jesus